Cha cha cha. Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Cherry and Beez. Beez feels like a reporter this week. That's why I have him on my fancy scarf. News at 7. I feel like this week brought me so deep that I feel like an investigative journalist. I feel like a little news anchor, one that swears more, consumes more nicotine. But nonetheless, though, so to dive right in this week, I have been looking at this snake, like everyone on the internet has been looking at this viral furry snake. And so I'm curious, what's going on with it? And so investigative journalist Beez dove right in for everybody. I don't really have a mug that works this week, so I just found a cute cat. Nonetheless, so Thailand is home to many creatures. It has elephants, it has spiders, it has this friendly fellow right here. What a queen. Slay. It's also beautiful. And inside of all this beauty, they found a furry green snake inside of a swamp in northeastern Thailand. I know the region, but I'm just going to save everyone the time, and you can just Google it because I know that I can't say it. So, nonetheless, though, moving forward, some of the questions circulating about this creature is the green fur just moss? It's actually really common for snakes to apparently grow algae. And there's lots of information about snakes growing algae. I don't really think that he looks like he's growing. He looks so different from all the other snakes online that I found pictures of that look like they're growing algae. And so it makes me kind of skeptical that that's what he would be, I guess. People are also wondering, is it a water snake? Is it a scaleless snake? What is he? Should we name him? I feel like we leave that up to the nice man that found him to name him. So we're just going to call him him. I already picked his gender. Seeds. But moving forward. So what do we know then right now about this mysterious fuzzy green snake? We know that he is 60 centimeters long. We know that he has officially gone viral. Congratulations, furry snake. He has been fed by a family that has found him. He's been eating small fish. And experts say that compared to other snakes, he is relatively slow moving. Some people are assuming that this is an early sign that he may be poisonous, and that's due to his slow moving nature because he's not scared. He's not scared. And so while diving deep into this, because sometimes I like to read the comments on the YouTubes and the Reddits, because I think that you guys know what's going on. And so I did just that. And I came across someone that basically said that this is 10-year-old footage and that it's just become a thing recently because the internet has made it a thing. And so I wanted to look into that to see if we're actually all just chasing something that's 10 years old. And I wanted to make sure that this is like something to wait for. And so I kept diving. This is what I found. So snakes growing algae is apparently very common. Sometimes they can get badly covered in it. And being called furry when snakes get covered in algae is actually something that I found in articles dating back about 10 years ago. And so the lingo attached to it is actually not changed much. But I'm going to call that a descriptive word. And so, which is somewhat arbitrary and relative, as Siri would say. I also found that algae growing on a snake can actually slow its movement by about 20%, which could make sense as to why people think he's moving slowly. Maybe he is just covered in this algae. And so everything actually is starting to seem to have quite a bit of validity at this point. So if furry snakes or the furry green algae snakes are common. So I Googled it. And this is what I found. These pictures I've included, by the way, is a testament to how deep the investigative journalist Beez has dug for everybody. And so I found this friendly fellow. And I found this friendly fellow. Thank you to whoever uploaded that one. You know you're deep when you start finding pictures like this one. So I really appreciate the sentiment. Thank you for that. And so while I'm Googling, I also just Googled just straight like algae snake just to like see if this new species or this new algae snake or furry snake or whatever we're calling him now, I just want to call him Tom, looks like other snakes covered in algae. Because if it's a common phenomena, that means that there must be something to compare and contrast. And like, we are leaving this to science, and I would love to do an update video for everyone. And if you have any questions that anyone wants answered in the update video, please feel free to leave a comment below and let me know what those questions are going to be. In my personal opinion, the algae snakes actually look quite different from this snake and how he looks, because you can kind of tell that it has that sort of seaweed thing to it, whereas the other one almost just looks like it's covered in like a wet pine needle. It looks more like fur and it looks more attached. It looks more like that snake with the eyebrows than anything else. So I continue to dig deeper. Maybe something else is causing the algae to look different than it used to look. And I found that snakes, particularly snakes that have no bands or of a darker just scale complexion or whatever, they will absorb more metals, they'll absorb more zinc, they'll absorb more toxins, and they're going to absorb more pollution, arsenic, the whole 9 yards. And so when they actually absorb this, then they shed it off in their shedding. And so if dark snakes are more common to attract this algae and to grow this algae, they're also more common to attract toxins. I figured maybe there's a climate change. Maybe there's something to do with the amount of plastic or pollution that's in our water sources now that is causing the snake to absorb more, that creates a different kind of growing algae that he'll shed off. But I think that's part of the reason why they're holding him, is to watch him and see if he sheds this algae, which is something we're all going to have to wait to find out. If he's going to shed, or if he's not going to shed. I kind of hope he sheds. Lie. If there's furry poisonous snakes in the ocean, like, I may need to seriously reevaluate me trying to track down that island in the sun. Would I risk my life though to swim with the furry snakes? That doesn't sound like swimming with the pigs. And yes, that is a thing. Google it. We're out of fun facts for the afternoon because this whole thing is a fun fact while we do investigative journalism with Beez. There's also something to be said for just evolution in general. And I know some people think that maybe he spent so long in this tiny, because he was basically like in a little nook, that he spent so long in the nook that he has adapted to his surroundings now, and so it's making him blend in better, and it's the reason why he's still there, is because he just adapted so well to his new environment. But we'll find that out too, because now that he's taken out of the environment, we'll see. Or even if they can evolve that quickly, or if this is the new evolving species. We don't know. These are all the questions that science has to answer for us in the upcoming months as to if we discovered it. I feel like the potential of us discovering a new species, especially an aquatic one though, is quite high. Just because I've seen all the water documentaries, and they always say that like it is mankind's last frontier, and it is the most like uninvestigated area, and we just can't go that deep, and we have no idea, and there's lots of creatures and critters down there that we don't know about. And I think that he just honestly might fit in to one of them. But with one side, there's always another side, and we will always get both sides with Beez. So, we know that snakes and algae are normal. I still haven't really found anything about this picture or about this imagery that dates back past February of this year. And it doesn't really seem to show, I don't think that the algae snakes look like this snake in particularly. And we do know that some species, and especially the darker ones, are more prone to it than others. And so I did what all good researchers do, and I found myself back on Reddit. RB Amazed thread, in case anyone was wondering. All of the articles that I've based this video off of are included in the description below, so feel free to click on any of them and be your own investigative journalist. What is fact and what is fiction? No one knows. While scrolling through this Reddit thread, though, of people discussing this, I found something actually even more terrifying, known as the bobbitt worm. And that was sort of like consensus, was that it was terrifying. These are the threads that I was reading. And so there's one or two things in these threads that just like are cause for alarm and cause for attention. I really appreciate everyone's descriptions and everyone encouraging no one to Google this. So obviously I Googled it. And the puff adder stood out. So this is a picture of him. I don't think that he looks like him, especially with what we know so far, that the black ones, the darker ones, are going to be more prone to developing the algae. He actually looks quite like. He has the light, he has the bands on him. He doesn't necessarily really look like this new creature. And it said that he was native to the African savanna, which is very different from a swamp pond in Thailand. And so the habitat of the animal doesn't necessarily coincide all that well. And so now, let's take a pit stop. Just a quick one. And let's decide. So is the bobbitt worm more terrifying than the new furry snake? Oh, here he is. My bobbitt worm. And I appreciate the phallic references attached to this Reddit thread because I actually found some validity to that. The Bobbitt family incident of 1993, in which the wife, Lorna Bobbitt, chopped off her husband's falafel clean off with a kitchen knife. The bobbitt worm is considered to be one of nature's most efficient killers. And so they were right. The name Bobbitt actually does have phallic links to it. So I appreciate you, Reddit. The people of the internet always know what's going on. We just do. Okay, and so this is how long he is, which is, I think, part of the reason why he looks so terrifying. I really like this version of him. He almost looks like a little furry he looks like a little Chewbacca bobbitt worm. And so please feel free to enjoy this pit stop while we watch this video that was narrated in I'm assuming the mid-90s of the bobbitt worm.
As night falls, many sand strikers emerge to feast. It's a bad neighborhood to hang out in. But fish are fast, and the sand strikers are feeding blind. They don't have eyes or a brain. They react only if one of their antennae is triggered or if a shadow lingers. Patience. Gotcha.
And that is just everything I have for you guys today. When we know more, you will know more, and I will keep us updated on the developing situation that is the furry green snake. I don't know. I think it's a new species. I do. Based off of everything that I see, nothing in there dated back past what they said. It doesn't look the same enough, and there's not enough pictures to really support it being old footage. And like based on I dove deep. Did you I don't know if you guys were around for those pictures, but that is something that you find in the darkest parts of the internet. Not the darkest, but on the way down there. We were on the way down there. We stopped before we got down there. We stopped at the bobbitt worm, and that's where we're gonna stop. And so as always, guys, you subscribe, you tussle the Cherry and Beast channel, and I will see you guys next week. Sorry, the extra song's actually really growing on me.